What's up guys, welcome back to On the Brick. Today I wanted to talk to you about another custom seller who's been around for quite a long time. In fact, I believe they are the most popular custom minifig maker out there, and of course I'm speaking about CloneArmyCustoms. And if you don't already know who they are, but you are a fan of custom Star Wars Lego, then I must apologize because I am probably about to destroy your wallet. Normally when I make these types of videos and I review a custom seller, I try to showcase my worst interaction with them. The reason behind that being that by doing so I can show you what exactly a bad transaction with each seller looks like and how that seller responds and acts to it. But when it comes to CloneArmyCustoms, I don't have a negative experience to share. In fact, the only negative experience quote unquote I've had with them is when they forgot to send me an extra head that I bought. And when I told them, they promptly sent it out to me with tracking included, and it reached me a few days later. Yeah, that is the most negative experience I've ever had with CloneArmyCustoms. And it's not like I've just been lucky or I haven't ordered too much from them. The praise for CloneArmyCustoms is widespread and very well deserved. And I think there are two main reasons for that. First, they've been around for a really long time. I remember learning about them in my freshman year of high school, and that was over a decade ago. So this means that they have experience and they've had time to learn and to grow and to fix mistakes that they might have been making. But the second point and the second reason I think they're so well received is because Tyler, the guy behind CloneArmyCustoms, actually takes this as a business. And I know that might sound really obvious, but it's not something I see in many other custom sellers. And those I do see it in are definitely not to this level. I've reached out to CloneArmyCustoms over the years with questions, comments, and concerns, and every single time I've gotten a response within 24 hours. Another thing I really like about CloneArmyCustoms is that they manage to ship out pretty quickly regardless of what's going on. Even in these last few months, I've managed to have orders shipped out within a few days of purchase, where the same unfortunately can't be said about many of the other people I buy from. And it's really good to know that if anything is wrong with those orders, he will fix it for you. And quickly, you won't have to wait multiple weeks just to get a response. Like the name implies, CloneArmyCustoms does primarily focus on clones, but they do have a small variety of other options as well. For instance, if you like Iron Man like I do, he does have several different figures for that, and these are actually pretty cheap too. And if you're into Halo, he offers even cheaper figures there. One thing I do want to say is I heard someone on Instagram say that these are just the armor pieces, but that does not seem to be true, as the listings clearly state that these are the complete figures. Once again, just wanting to point out to please do your own research as well. And even on the Star Wars side of things, they have non-clones as well. He has individual characters like Thrawn or even Obi-Wan Kenobi in clone armor, and of course several different types of Mandalorians. And when it comes to the clones, there are a lot of them. For instance, when it comes to Phase 2 troopers, he has 109 different items, and that's just for the basic Phase 2 trooper. That's not including ARC troopers, pilots, recon troopers, ARF troopers, anything special like that, which all have categories of their own. There are countless troopers you can buy from him to help expand your army. But let's say you have a ton of troopers and you just need helmets. Well, you can do that too, as he has just about every kind of helmet you would need. Again, with just the Phase 2 helmets, he has 94 different types, and that includes individual characters. So let's say a few years back you bought some Utapau battle packs and you want a custom Boil and Waxer, you can do that by just buying the helmets if you wanted to. But helmets aren't the only accessories he sells. He actually has helmet attachments, weapons, backpacks, jetpacks, and even cloth packs if you want to add that extra spice to your figure. He even has custom printed heads, again with a bunch of custom characters as well. So CloneArmyCustoms is as much Clone Army as it is the custom side, allowing you to get whatever pieces you want for your own army. And not only does CloneArmyCustoms allow you to buy a random figure for cheap, but they also let you design your own for even cheaper. though admittedly that does have limited options. But none of that really means anything if the quality isn't up there, and I am happy to say that of course it is. They are pretty much the standard for custom figures. I believe they use pad printing and they put in a lot of effort to make sure it's correct. While some might think this doesn't allow the full range of coverage like decals might, CloneArmyCustoms does do 360-degree printing. Yes, places like the arms aren't fully detailed like you might get in a decal, but that doesn't take away from how good it looks anyway. And one big reason that CloneArmyCustoms stands out from everyone else is that they have custom molded their own helmets, with newer versions coming out literally today. Now this does mean that the prices for these figures might be a little higher than some people like, but they are certainly cheaper than getting commissioned decal figures from somewhere like Star Wars Fanatics, who again I want to point out I do still recommend. Now there is one thing about CloneArmyCustoms that for me is equally awesome as it is, well, not awesome, and that is that this price you see on the bottom of the page is not the final price of that figure. For instance, here is a Phase 2 212th Blue Corps Sergeant that I have previously purchased and showcased on this channel. The stated price of this figure is $27, but you'll notice there's a bunch of drop-down menus on top of it, and that's because CloneArmyCustoms allows you to further customize the figure you want. Not all these menus have different options on all the figures, but there is still a really good variety. For instance, I can add a custom printed face that I talked about, or even a second weapon if I want. The downside to all this is that of course those do cost extra, whereas you might realize the printed face does because you are physically adding that option. You might overlook the fact that these bottom two are also at additional costs, meaning the figure you see in the picture for this listing is not $27, but in fact $33. And while you certainly can take those options away and go just bare bone, I am left wondering if there is a way to show what you will actually be paying for this figure, because even when you hit update item, the price doesn't change. And even though the extra costs are quite clearly labeled, I can definitely see some people overlooking that or just not even realizing. But with that said, you're still able to get 2 or sometimes 3 weapons for free. Another slight downside to CloneArmyCustoms is that they do tend to be out of stock of the more popular figures, but even then there are still a good variety of other figures you can purchase from, and if you are looking for a specific character, CloneArmyCustoms has always been open about when they will restock. In fact, he's constantly adding new items onto his store as well, because even during recording this audio, new items were placed on the store. So basically, if you are looking to expand your Clone Army, Mandalorians, or even have some custom figures, then CloneArmyCustoms is a wonderful place to go, and I would 100% recommend them. Tyler has done a fantastic job with this store. His communication is great, his service is wonderful, his shipping is fast, and the quality of his products is 100% worth the price every single time. So if you haven't already, I would definitely check him out. That's going to be it for today. Next week, like Bilbo watching a Pixar film with a lady friend, I have an unexpected update. If you've purchased from CloneArmyCustoms, let me know what you bought in the comments down below. If you liked what you saw, remember to hit that like button. Please do consider subscribing as it helps me out way more than you know. And of course, if you want to support me more directly, do consider checking out my Patreon page. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.